Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most
Smoky.
smoky podcast. Oh yeah, because there's incest being
Incense.
There's a what?
incense. So I
Incense
was getting
what?
confused.
I actually thought the place was on fire when we came in first.
Oh really?
I was
Yeah.
almost certain it was just incense.
Okay. So there's only incense going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, press the subscribe button if you want to. Hugh's hungry.
Yeah,
Oh.
thanks for putting money in the letterbox when you pass as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Notes.
Or I wonder, can you do? Remember, did you ever see the bag collecting thing in shopping
Yeah.
centres and stuff? I wonder, could you do that for a podcast?
When I was a kid, I used to go out into the road with my money box on the day of a match, and I say to people it was money to pass.
No
You know,
way.
shake the money box, and they just laugh at you. People were mean in the 80s.
That's mad.
If I
yeah.
saw a kid looking for money to pass, I would have put something in. Would you?
No,
No.
I'm too mean.
That's funny. Yeah, we're joined this week by Bright Falls, but his government name, as far as I know, is Eddie McCormick. How are you, man?
No, not too bad in
Yeah,
ourselves.
good. Can I ask? I'm gonna start off. Bright Falls, so is your band, but I always wonder, is Bright Falls like your individual artist name or is it the band?
It's more my individual artist name.
Yeah,
I've been going as that since about 2015, I think.
Okay.
Started off the Bright Falls stuff. It was just myself for a good few years.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
we kind of had a hodgepodge of various drummers
Yeah.
and bassists, and what we have now has been there now for kind of 3-ish years. So
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And where's the name from? Bright Falls.
it's actually from this video game called Alan Wake. I played it like probably 12 years ago. But I just liked the name. So I
Yeah.
was like, here, let's just use this.
That's funny.
The first thing I saw was that logging. Is it logging? The album cover. Is it album or record?
The logging, the EP, yeah,
EP,
we released
yeah,
that in
yeah,
2019.
2019. Yeah, cool. But that to me is like really cool because it's got an aesthetic going with your music, and that's
Yeah.
kind of going the whole way through. Even like I was looking at the Widow's Home stuff and everything like that. It's like
Yeah, like I like the idea of music having a kind of an identity and an aesthetic. Like
Yeah.
the logging EP was actually called Logging before I think any of those songs were written.
that's class.
You know, before.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, like I had that name since around probably 2015. I had the name Logging.
And did you have
Then
that
I
image
actually
in your head?
released- I had that image in my head
That's so
because
cool.
I had seen a friend of mine took a picture. It was like that one,
Yeah.
but we couldn't use that one.
Okay.
So I ended up my other friend.
Yeah.
We hunted down some
Logs.
some logs, and we took a picture of them. That's just ended up like that, and then you know, I just had this whole idea of like making this alternative country EP that was in my head. I had to get that out myself for some reason.
But what about the
Logging.
name Loggin made you say in 2015, I want to keep that name and make an album around it? Like, what was there a story behind that?
I was just into like process and industry and how like
Class.
industry goes into an area and it's there and it could be very successful for so many years.
Yeah.
And then I could just leave. But like the songs, there's only like one song really about that. It's like Monroe Logging Company, which is probably like my least favorite song I've ever written.
Okay.
But like that's about like a guy who like is just happy enough living his life, just driving a truck for a logging company.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of an all over the place EP, but like I tried to conceptualize just this place that was kind
yeah.
of where all these stories happen. Kind of. You know
I
what mean?
often think as well, stuff like, say, Sgt. Pepper's, you got the aesthetic that goes with it, and you think, oh, it's a psychedelic album. But if you were to listen to those songs individually without ever seeing any of the visuals, you go, no, it's not. You know what I mean? It's nearly the image ties the whole lot together, and it creates an identity. I was looking at a thing with the Kinks the other day, and it's like they have some of the worst album covers for best songs. You know what I mean? So, and like your thing gives out a kind of a Neil Young kind of vibe or something like that. That once you have that image, that it gives the whole thing. It's prosody. It's the whole thing works as one. Like your artwork, your music, your style, the individuality, and it's got even the sound. I was listening to it earlier on today. It's got a unique sound as well, which I think is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, like I think, like always for me, music wasn't just the audio. Like the visual is so important. I think the way an artist visualizes themselves you know, the way they dress themselves, the way they conduct themselves, the way their artwork on the record is. It's important.
Yeah.
It was always important to me. And on the new record, all the artwork was done by a photographer. Adam Chase Fields is his name. He's worked with a lot of bands in the US. He done a cover for Hawthorne Heights before. And I was delighted to get him in because he's just one of my favorite photographers.
Coming of Age, is it? Or Come
of Age was the a single release. Yeah, he done that. He done the cover of The Widow's Homes. He done the cover of Cassie, My One and Only, and he's doing the cover for Dusk as well. So,
how did you meet him? Like how?
I just hit him with an email online. I had followed him on Instagram for maybe 2 years before that. And I said to him, it was actually just at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was kind of gearing up to release The Widow's Homes, and I was like, here, we'll chance giving this out, and I'll email.
That's class.
So I just emailed him, and he was like, yeah, no bother.
Where's he from?
Mad.
He's from Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's class. That's mad. Like
That
you just
is
have
so
to
cool.
ask. Like I say that like about everything as well. Like you just ask. Like the majority people, like more not the majority, but more people than you expect will say yeah. Like I think people just most time don't ask for things. I don't know.
Yeah, like asking is probably just such an awkward thing to do.
Yeah.
For anything, like it's just like, here, can you do this? And oh no.
Yeah.
And did you ask loads of people different things, or what would you know? Just him?
Nah, I just wanted like
You're happy with the yes. You're retiring from asking now. Like
I just asked him that time, and he just gave me all these pictures, and I purchased a few of them, and then I done it again last summer,
That's so cool.
or this summer I should say.
that's cool. Yeah, you've really got like your own aesthetic and stuff, and I think that's really cool. Especially like I think all bands, even like starting out from the get go, I think it's one of the most important things that a lot of bands don't find, and it's hard to find a band like that's successful, whatever success means to people. Like you need that aesthetic and stuff. I think it's like it is as important as the music, like the look and the image. When you want to be a band that performs, like I feel like the aesthetic is as important as the music. Like, did you just naturally like? Was that something you consciously like knew yourself, or did you just like naturally find you had an aesthetic?
Like a bit of both. Like you have to think about what you actually like as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you like in fashion? What do you like in music? What do you like in pop culture or whatever? Do you know what I mean? So when I met Dusk, like I had the title for Dusk as well for maybe 2-ish years. And putting that together, obviously there were certain colours, the dusk colours
Yeah.
that I wanted in that. And again, when I hit up Adam, I was explaining the concept, and we got like a dusk image that is the cover of the album.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's so many, like at the lower level of music, there's so much singles being brought out and albums being brought out, and oftentimes the cover of the record can just turn me off listening to it.
Yeah.
Because when a cover looks so like rinky dink, I'm just like, nah, not listening to this.
Yeah.
Like
which is like, you know, it's like judging the book with the cover, but like
I think it's
a good cover,
healthy, natural
on a
thing to
nice
do.
book. Yeah,
Like judging the book by the cover is like what? Well, not even if it's whether it's healthy or natural. I think naturally everyone judges the book by the cover. So like you need to like I do see that a lot with like bands starting off is. You even see it on Facebook. Like they might bring out a new song, and even the way they word their, Facebook post, like if it's or even the poster, if the poster like has Comic Sans, and they could be the best band in the world, but the poster is like Comic Sans, and it looks like someone made it on paint. It's like you're attaching that aesthetic to their sound before you even go into it, and I think that can like affect their progress. Like.
exactly. And even when you bring up font, like fonts are like so important.
Yeah.
Like I thought so much about fonts when I was like putting on just writing onto images, and we picked a typewriter font for logging and for this Dusk LP as well, because typewriters are actually also a common theme in the songs. There's even a song called Typewriters on the record. So you just kind of have to like think about what you're writing and what you're making, and just try and relay it in as much of an artistic perspective as possible. Like,
There's a couple of times as well now that it sounds like the majority times I hear people like name stuff, whether it's the album or the song title after the fact, after it's been created. But you sound like there's a good few times where you create something around a name. Like, is that what you do for most of your songs?
It depends. It depends on kind of the concept.
Yeah.
Like some songs, like say like the single "The Widow's Homes" we released. That was very much. I wanted to write about the widows' homes because I'm from Thurles, and the widows' homes is something I used to drive past almost every day.
Where's that, the widow's home?
Up near Aldi. Across from Aldi. Red brick building.
Stanix.
Oh yeah, that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to shoot the video in there and all, and so the widows' homes as a title made sense. I just had the image of dusk, and that makes sense. But there's other songs that they could just be written. They could be written from instrumentals. I could just have lyrics written, and then eventually I'll just come up with a title of it as well. But at the moment, like for the next record that I'm currently writing, a lot of it has been titled. Like I will title the instrumentals, and there's a good chance that will be the name of the song.
Cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
So you'll have the instrumental, you'll come up with a title, and then fill up the, work the lyrics towards that title, then or whatever.
That's definitely the way I'm working now because I've just gotten so much into like conceptual records and just building like 3-act structured narratives and all this, that like I'm coming up with the sonics, but then I'm like really thinking heavily about like the story and development of the story and the lyrics and everything like that afterwards.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny, like I only mess around writing my own stuff, like not ever to even produce or record it, and just like for my own like stuff I like writing about and stuff. And something I find hard is I might just whatever be singing about something that means something, and then like a couple of sentences will come out that I really like, and then I'm trying to build it around that, but then I find, so there's no name for a song or anything like that, then I find though it gets real sidetracked. But I'm just thinking there, like what would be the benefit of like naming it first? I feel like, do you find that it keeps you focused on the theme of the song then if you have the name first? Or
I think it can.
Yeah.
I often find like if I had a song that was finished and I was waiting to actually get a title for it, that I wouldn't feel that like sense of finishing it until there's a title on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. What age were you though when you first started playing music? And
I first started playing music,
or when you first liked music, do you remember that age? I wonder, do you actually?
Yeah. Like when I first got into like proper music, I would have been probably whatever age I was when I made my communion.
7.
7, yeah, probably 7.
Yeah.
That was at 2000. It was 2001. I can remember buying my first record.
Who was it?
2001. No. That would have been a solid choice too, though. World of Our Own is
underrated.
One hell of a song. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But 2001 communion money. I remember getting Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park.
Oh,
that's mad.
Which is.
It was what the Lord would have wanted you to do.
Phenomenal record to get into at the start, I think.
What made you pick up the album if you were never into music before? Was it just like the cover or something?
I think it was like just at the time that group was kind of everywhere. And I had like a friend of mine in school, like his older brother was obviously putting him onto stuff, and like through him I was hearing about all these bands. So I got into like Linkin Park was definitely like the most important one at the start.
Yeah.
Then other stuff like the kind of other new metal acts, like Papa Roach was the second record I bought, I think, and just other stuff around then, like whatever was on Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, like was like the very early days. And then you grow so much from that age, like music is just, you're constantly growing with that into your teenage years especially, which is your most formative. I think what you are exposed to artistically in them years, it stays with you for life, I think. Do you know what I mean?
I think there's something as well about people's older brothers or something like that, that it's like kind of this secret stuff that you don't know anything about when you're 7.
They have all the knowledge. They're just like,
and you go, wow,
like,
and this is
drip feeding records or whatever, TV or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and when people talking, kids talking between them when they're 7. I remember being 7 or whatever, and like somebody's older brother, he'd bring in like Iron Maiden or whatever, you know, from his bro. And we're like, what's that? And like even the color alone or of the cover like looks amazing, and wow, and it's really destructive. It's like
draws you in, like
it's like playing with dynamite or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's a secret thing as well, because we're not. He robbed it off the brother, or he's not supposed to have it there. You know what I mean? We're all like, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like getting into a hidden world, you know.
A hidden world, that's a good way to describe it. Like, and then like once you get into one act, you just keep finding it more and more and more, and you get into like at the time I remember buying a Kerrang magazine and like, things like that, and like when you get older, like Rock Sound and stuff like that. You're just exposed to so much music, and it just never ends.
When did you get a guitar?
I got a guitar.
Wasn't the communion money, was it?
No. It was good after that. I was in, I don't know, maybe second year. Yeah. Like I took lessons. Tom Lyons actually taught me how to play guitar.
Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
The legend. Yeah. The one and only. But yeah, around 2007, I kind of started like getting proper lessons off Tom.
Yeah.
I think the summer before that, I had learned a few chords off someone.
Yeah.
But Tom taught me everything. And then songwriting itself, though, was something I tried to do when I was like 16, 17, 18. And I could just never really get to grips with it.
Yeah.
I just found everything I had written was just so cringe.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you know, you're a teenager, so everything is cringe anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very hard to not be cringe at that age. But
how'd you overcome the cringe?
It was kind of just going. I went to college in 2012. I was 19.
Yeah.
And I was just really inspired by like, I had seen the Watch the Throne tour like June before that. That's Jay-Z and Kanye West.
Yeah.
And I was really inspired by that tour, and I was like, it's kind of now I need to start like actually making my own music, because not really getting any younger at 19, are you? Like you need to kind of like start getting your stuff together, like. So I started like writing a lot more around probably the end of September 2012, and then I actually just like I got hooked to it, and I was just doing it constantly since.
Did you have a breakthrough? Like you went, this is fucking good, this one?
I don't know if I ever thought that this was
good.
Like really good at that stage. Like not until maybe 3 or 4 years after that, I think. Me and my friends Jay and Kev, we started this band called Kelsey Creek around that time. So I was kind of writing songs with the intention of just playing with the lads, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In a Whistle This, which is Tom's Tom Lyons' event, you know, he has for songwriters. So that's kind of where it all started, and still going.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you inside in Hickeys and thinking, Jesus, this lad's good. Do you know what I mean? He's got it off, you know. It's the kind of first time I've seen a kind of big breakthrough kind of a thing where the music, the look, the whole thing works together, you know, and it's his own songs. So I thought, fuck. But maybe you don't notice the gradual progress when you're doing it yourself, you know.
You kind of notice moments of like going from, you know, he's a guy with an acoustic guitar who sounds fine to like being somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I don't think anyone's ever really that happy with
their own thing. Of course. Yeah.
I think it's important though, to be able to notice the progress though, so that you know that you are moving on. Because if you didn't, you'd be just kind of in the same spot all the time. Like
exactly, you're static. Then like you always need to progress and try and better yourself. Artistically and as a person, I suppose, as well. Like,
and you like, what's your opinion on the music scene in Thurles?
That's a big question.
Yeah, like as in what I mean by that is like, do you think it's great, or do you think it's not great, or do you think it could be better? Yeah, what's your whatever? It's a big question.
I know. I think it's phenomenal. It's, you know, we're a town of like 8,000 people.
Yeah.
And there's so many songwriters.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, songwriters are different from like just musicians or whatever. But like, there's so many musicians as well, and there's so many people doing their own thing, which is important, because There's plenty of people doing like covers in a bar or whatever, and I was like, most of us don't really care about that. Like,
yeah.
But the amount of people that's like making their own songs and putting out their own music as well. It's important. Like,
yeah,
we have our own little scene, like, but and like there isn't that many scenes in Ireland itself.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is mad. Like, it's like like the Hickeys. It is cool when Melvin and Sully do the Féile Beag, because it's like the coming together of that scene. And definitely I've lived in a good few different places in Ireland, and you'll have that in cities, but that's because all the cities have all those bands in that scene are from other places coming to the city because they live and go to college in the city. But here it's like, no, that's a large amount of people who live here and are from here playing music that I feel like is really rare for a town of that size, like as you're saying. Like,
it is. And I think the fact that there's so much of it, I think there's a rivalry of just wanting to do things to the best of your abilities, like, and whether it's performing live as best as you can or recording as best as you can, you know what I mean?
Which bands in Thurles are your biggest rivals?
Which ones do you want to take down? Who do you want to take down? Who do we need to spill a pint into their amp? Just before the gig, yeah?
No comment.
Yeah, it is cool though. It is, and it's good to have that like healthy competition as well, or healthy or even like sometimes it's not even competition. Sometimes that stuff can be just like a mirror of where you're at, like having a pint. Because if you're the only band in the town, like I've seen this actually in small towns where there is only one band and they are like the Beatles, and the lads will walk around the place like they are the Beatles and they're playing in some small little pub. It's really interesting, and I think that's. Not even, I think everyone's hyping them up because that is their only reference to local music. So it's like they can't even grow, because there's no other bands getting gigs. So they go, oh shit, if we want to continue getting gigs, like this band, we better put in more work. And so I think it's important to have that too. Like,
definitely, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And what I was gonna say, so if you had though one of your, like, if tomorrow you could wake up and you had no limitations on yourself, you could wake up anywhere in the world at any destination, like as in where you go, like what stage, like what would be your main goal surrounding music? If you could wake up tomorrow and be in a certain position, in any limitless position in your life.
The answer is to be here. You want to be here.
On this podcast. Yeah, the biggest goal.
Get on the podcast is the answer, yeah? No, we can cut that bit out. Go on.
I haven't really thought that far, Kieran.
Yeah. But no limitations. Like one, and without even worrying what people think. Like, what would you want?
Everything.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that.
Everything,
answer.
of course.
Me too.
You know, I think people who don't admit that are lying to you and to themselves.
I think so too, man.
I think songwriters, musicians, whatever, recording artists, whatever you want to call them, they do want people to hear their songs.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like everyone to hear my songs, whether people like them or not. I don't care that much about, but like I would definitely like it to be as successful as possible. But you be realistic as well, though, in where you are in life and geographically where you are and your limitations there.
Do you believe though, like that one song that there is, like, say you write songs and they're good and all that, but that if a certain song can just nail people to the wall, like, is there, like, I don't know, I kind of believe it like that. There's brilliant songs, doesn't really matter who writes them.
What, like the overnight kind of blow up
like
song?
this fucking amazing song, like, and there's shit songs that can blow up as well, but there is sometimes, like, your man, like, say Albert Hammond or people like that write these songs that just fucking, I wouldn't have even known his name other than I saw something or whatever, like, but everybody knows the songs, like, they're just amazing songs.
Yeah, like, and I think with the way things are now, there's songs that will blow up because of whatever. A trend on
of course,
TikTok or whatever.
TikTok.
Like,
or Instagram or something.
And people are writing songs knowing that now.
They are.
Is Baby Shark the greatest song of the last 10 years, is it?
Of the last 10 years?
Based on views, it's a wonder.
I mean, it's up there. But like, people are being encouraged to write songs of particular lengths
Yeah.
People are being discouraged from writing albums
Of course.
Yeah.
because DSPs or your streaming platforms want singles
Yeah.
because of algorithms and all these things. And you could definitely buy into all that and maybe have a lot of success,
Yeah.
but you also, I think, have to have artistic integrity. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the most important thing, I think, whether you're doing music or film or writing novels or whatever. You have to have artistic integrity and not just feed into what you think
Yeah,
people
it's
want.
mad. Like, where did it's even worse than like when you had like Led Zeppelin and even Iron Maiden and all these. These were writing 10-minute tracks, like, and then the whole thing of the radio. Like, obviously they kept their integrity, but the reason they stopped getting playing on the radio is when the radio came in and said, I think towards the end of the 90s it got real strict, early 90s, where they go, we want these 2.5, 3-minute tracks. Then you had like Justin Timberlake and all, really good music and stuff. But now it's become like people are making tracks like 60 seconds long because they want a music video. And you see this with big artists, like a lot in the hip hop scene and stuff. And some, it's still really good music, but like you're saying, their incentive is completely based around how do we make something that will be used in a TikTok trend so it can get blown up. So it's getting even shorter and shorter. Like
exactly. And I think maybe you could say musicians, recording artists can also be kind of caught in the past as well. And maybe we need to look forward and progress to things like that. I don't know. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is there anyone around right now that like bands right now that you really like?
Oh, like loads. Yeah, like music. Like I think sometimes you'll hear people say, "Oh, there's no good rock bands now," or there's no good like singer songwriters or whatever. But there is, because there's so much. There's actually just so much music being released now. There's been more music being released now than there ever has. In the last 40 years. Like daily, there's thousands of tracks going to Spotify. It's hard to
hear them all.
It's hard to like comb through everything. Spotify try with playlists to show like these are the most relevant or the best alternative rock tracks. These are the best indie tracks. These are the best, trap tracks, whatever. But like there's so much great music still. But, like music will always be good. Music will always be awful. Do you know what I mean? And music I like is awful to other people. And
I've seen before, and like maybe it's like on your Instagram and stuff like that. You were sharing. I think you were sharing, maybe I can't remember, a while back, something like your favorite albums and stuff like that. Was that a thing you were doing on your page?
I was sharing just some records that I have that I just kind of wanted to put out to people. Had put up I think it started with Smashing Pumpkins, Gish, put up Neil Young, Harvest Moon, Title Fight, Floral Green, just all sorts of different records, different genres.
What I noticed about that is it like reminded me of like my playlist in the shower and stuff like that. Like a legit go from like Kanye West into like like Neil Young, or like two of them, for example. Like, and I think that's really cool. Like, because I think you have, especially like I don't know, there's something about like people only ever share like this certain genre that they like based around what their friends are like. And I always think that's really silly, because I just think when you let go of that stuff and listen to what like you can't argue that Kanye West is one of the greatest. Like if you like people like when he came around, in that sort of 2000s era, when for the 3-minute song, but like people who would have liked a lot of bands and metal and rock and stuff like that completely never even gave him a chance. And like if you actually listen to that stuff as a musician or as a music producer, like it is some of the best produced stuff in history, I would say, in terms of quality. Even if you don't like the stuff, a lot of the stuff I mightn't even like, but I can still say it is insanely well produced. And I think people sometimes just ignore that. So it's cool to see like you sharing music for its art, and like you're not confined to a certain genre and stuff, like, which is cool.
Yeah, and you mentioned Kanye West, and Kanye West is probably my favorite recording artist in history.
Yeah.
I think he's beyond music. He's a Renaissance man. So he designs clothes. He wants to design buildings. He wants to design. He designs sneakers. Yeah. He's a producer. He's a songwriter. He's a rapper, he's a singer, he's everything.
Yeah.
And what I actually learned so much from, you know, outside of my own genre, you know, I make whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
heartland rock or alternative rock, whatever you want to call it. But from listening to artists like Kendrick Lamar, artists like The Weeknd, who's like one of the biggest pop artists at the moment,
Yeah.
and definitely from Kanye West above all others, I actually learned how to make an album, an actual long form narrative album, because I had been writing songs for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, just writing whatever. I've hundreds of songs written, but
Yeah.
I want to make albums now. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, listening to like Childish Gambino's Because the Internet, that's a long form album. It tells a story from start to finish.
Yeah.
Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, in my opinion, the greatest album ever made. Now, I'm sure that'll upset a lot of people
That's
who
cool.
think I listen to like
Yeah.
insert rock band here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that album is phenomenal. It tells just the wildest story.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Start to finish, long form narrative, 3 acts, amazing. And you know, from studying those records,
And is it like that? It's like 3 acts, is it? Yeah.
3 acts generally with West, and most of them like that 3 act structure is it's in probably the majority of like Hollywood films too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, like Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, that was
Kendrick Lamar's really good at that as well. Like.
phenomenal. Like Kendrick, like Good Kid, Mad City, Damn.
Yeah.
These are albums. Again, they all tell a story, and they're all songs that are interconnected. And that's just what I want to make now, and probably going forward, that's the way I want to make music.
I never noticed that before about albums. Actually, just listen to albums start to finish, but I never noticed kind of the whole act thing or whatever. Even
Yeah.
And is there a kind of resolution then at the end? Is it the typical thing, a conflict thing in the middle, like a play or something? No,
As in
like the way the album works.
well, like that's the magic. Like it could be
Yeah.
anything. Like
Whatever way you want to do it.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like growing up, one of my favorite bands, and like the reason I actually picked up a guitar in the first place was My Chemical Romance,
Oh yeah.
and they've 4 albums, and they're pretty much all conceptual albums.
Yeah.
Especially like The Black Parade, which again tells a story of, you know, someone who dies from cancer,
Yeah.
and just basically about their tale, their struggle
Yeah.
through cancer. You know, things like that interest me more than like, you know, here's you know, 9 folk songs or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's some rock songs about being a rock and things like that. Like, oh, look at me, I'm going to a bar, aren't I very rock and roll? Like
Yeah.
that's lame. Like I want to write like movies, but
Yeah.
in audio.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's definitely like, what's funny about that, a lot of people give out, it's the same people that kind of give out that they always say it doesn't exist anymore, that gone are the days where an album was perfectly curated start to finish, when actually you have like a large amount of modern day artists like Kanye West and Kendrick Lamar doing that. And I don't know, I just think it's interesting. Like, people are so quick to like just be so judgmental rather than listen. Like the amount like Kendrick Lamar's, like, even I don't even listen to him that much, but even his like his ability for storytelling through it, like, and like, wasn't there something like, didn't he bring out like him revealing, what was it, his new album, wasn't there like a thing where he started talking about like homophobia within like the streets and stuff like that in one of his new songs? Or
He's talking a lot about homophobia and transphobia and just his upbringing, and kind of you know, hearing the culture around his upbringing in regards to that. But he was making a comment about like how that needs to end. Do you know what I mean?
And like he's from Compton, like he's from
Yeah.
where NWA were, like he grew up in the same streets as them, like he took influence them. For him to come out in a song, in a hip hop song, that a lot of the culture is still like homophobic and stuff against that, like that's mad, and that's like art in itself. And
Exactly, yeah.
like I think even if you don't like people's music like that, like I just think like, how can you not appreciate that? Like, it's really cool.
Exactly. And you know, Kendrick is, I think, maybe the best lyricist of his generation.
Yeah,
by far. You know, everything. There's always a message with Kendrick, and the thing about, like, there's a message, but there's also so much you can read into, and there's so much that he won't tell you about the song as well. Which I love things like that. You know? You could just go through his lyrics for weeks and months. Do you know what I mean?
And you see, who's your favorite modern day artist? You?
Oh, Bright Falls. I would think.
That was an easy get out.
That's not good enough, you. That's not good enough.
Why?
Man.
That was an easy. That was just an easy get out.
We need more than
Hey,
that.
do you know what? They have
No.
a record out this Friday. Did you know
Yeah.
that? Did you know
Do
that?
they?
Yeah.
You actually.
And I think there's a gig on this Saturday in the
Source. Yeah.
in Source Arts Centre in Thurles in County Tipperary,
Yeah.
Ireland.
Yeah. Postcode E41. And so, I don't know address.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, that's my
Yeah, you do have
favourite.
an.
my favorite. Belle and Sebastian probably is my
Oh,
favorite
nice.
Good band.
band. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your least favorite band from?
From Thurles. who we
Our band.
what
We
we
have
call-
it. Three of us have a secret band.
who do we want
Let's
to
all
take down?
answer
if they-
together.
I know.
It'd be hard to. I genuinely, as maybe it sounds crazy, right? Even outside, I genuinely don't have a band that I don't like. I don't feel
I
like
do.
really.
Yeah, from Thurles.
Oh, from Thurles. I meant in the world. You're like no.
Yeah, they're from Thurles.
Man, I have like 14 bands I don't like from Thurles.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm
And
just
one
kidding.
you do like.
I'm just kidding. It's a
And
joke.
I'm going
Relax.
to name them at the end.
Yeah.
If you stay
In
to
the
end-
credits.
Yeah, if
In
you
the
stay to the end, I'll name the band I really hate.
Yeah, if you So we're gonna clip this and use it for the start to get you
Perfect.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So find out who Hugh dislikes at the end.
And I don't like their bass player.
Okay. So it's a band with
Oh, the bass player, yeah.
okay.
I'm the bass player.
It's becoming more real. I thought this.
Yeah. And a Telecaster playing. There's a Telecaster as well.
Okay.
But a horrible sound.
This sounds very specific. Okay.
Bright
Is this
Falls
your
has
old band?
both a Telecaster and a bass player.
Oh, okay.
Not them. Not them.
But you are bringing out an album this Friday. So
Yes,
what's
we're bringing out an album. It's called Dusk. It's out
Yeah.
this Friday, October 28th.
Yeah.
And that is actually also a concept album.
Brilliant.
There you go. You can
Yeah.
read into that for at least a week.
yeah.
Wow. And you're playing this Saturday in the Source.
And we're playing in the
This-
Source. Yes,
this
this is our record release show. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll be playing some other shows sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should book us for a show.
Yeah,
Everyone.
that's good.
What
Yeah.
about like weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff like that? You
We,
play
c-
them?
we
Bar
can,
mitzvahs?
we
Yeah.
can play. We can play those things.
Would you play a divorce party?
If
I don't
you
know.
divorce party would probably be more apt because the record is actually about divorce.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And processing divorce and
No way.
and
Wow.
Wow.
just trying. It's a character who's trying to just learn how to, I guess, become their own person, become an individual.
That's
Do you know what I
mad.
mean? So yeah, we'll play all your functions once you pay us.
That's mad. A divorce party, is that a thing?
That is a party. Weddings, funerals, divorces, the whole lot.
Since when is divorce party a thing though?
It is. It was in England
I think so.
anyway.
Oh, that's
yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
It's a bit bizarre, right? It's a bit macabre.
Yeah, it's just really weird. Like that's, I don't know. Like, are they having a good time or is it like
I
holding
think
each
it's just
other?
Mark and kind of like some people kind of divorce and are still friends and just have a party.
Oh, together they have a. Oh, you're saying together? I thought you meant
Could be.
like.
Well, I don't know.
Whoa.
Depends
No,
on
I
the
think
people. I don't
it's
know the
usually
people.
just
Oh,
one
right,
person
yeah.
that's
I
very
thought- I
happy
thought
to be
we-
divorced.
Yeah.
I'd say it would be like all the girls go with the girl and have a
Yeah.
party or whatever.
But I doubt they plan it together.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Really?
But you're saying though the album's about a character. Like, so what's
Yeah.
the story? What made you think like is it something in real life or was it just a thought that came that made you want to?
No, like I don't really like to write about myself. I just rather like nothing really goes on in my life that's that interesting to actually write about. Number one, but I just like to write about like characters, and I like to think a lot about situations, and maybe sometimes influenced by like people I see or conversations I
Yeah.
hear or stories I hear. And a lot of times it's influenced by like films I watch or other records I've listened to or books I've read or graphic novels I read or whatever. But yeah, it started kind of from the actual song "The Widow's Homes."
Yeah.
I had written that in around 2019, and I just liked the song, and I was like, I enjoyed the story, so I was like,
Yeah. Do you write the
John,
story before you write the song? No. Or do you write details or anything like that?
I write the story. I write the album
Yeah.
story
First.
now,
Wow.
but at the time I had just written "The Widow's Homes."
Yeah.
And I just wanted to expand more on that story and that character because I thought there was so much like we could tell about. Like there's what happened before
Yeah.
this, what happened to get here,
Yeah.
what happens after, the resolve, like what actually the person has left the other person.
Yeah.
How does the the person who was left alone react to that. Do you know what I mean? There's so much ways you can bring that, and what's the end result. I just always thought that was interesting, so I started writing the album over kind of lockdown. So I think like the only pre-lockdown tracks are Come of Age and The Widow's Homes.
Yeah,
they were like the old songs, and then I kind of wrote the album around that.
Do the songs work like that in 3 parts as well, where you?
I use a 3-act structure for that. Yeah.
So it's like what got me here, is it, or what? How do you?
Yeah. So basically, it's like the first act is, it's the start. It's like it kind of opens with like a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes to things starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
Then the second act is, the big fallout, like.
Yeah.
And then it just ends with, the resolve. You're going to have to, like, figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say,
actually,
it was the first time I was actually hoping you didn't spoil it. Actually looking forward to
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away either. I already said too much, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to have to kill you now.
It's funny, though. I honestly, genuinely, someone has never explained an album in a way that made me react to, like, a movie. I was genuinely, like, hoping you didn't ruin it there. Like, it's weird. That's never happened before where I go, like, I actually... Yeah, that's funny. I'm actually looking forward to listening to for that. Like, and I think, like the story. Do you find though, like you've created this character, so you've written a whole album about a specific character. You spent a lot of time with this character. Like now, do you feel connected? Like, have you formed it enough in your mind where you feel like in a weird way the character is real to you and.
Nah, the character isn't real to me. It's just a character.
Okay.
But
yeah.
He dies in the end.
No, I don't like. I don't really have that much like affection for the character like that.
Okay,
like when I was writing the album and when I had recorded the album, I definitely did. But now I'm at the stage where I'm writing the next album and I'm thinking about that character.
Okay, yeah.
So much that like the thought of the other character is I'm only kind of like thinking about if I have to hear the song or if I'm sending emails for the song or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think what I was kind of getting at was more around that. Like, so when you're singing the song, are you picturing like a character? Like, does the character look like someone? Like, not like someone but like have its identity in your head and your.
Like the way I see it is, say when we're playing in the Source, like when we're doing the songs from dusk. So like we're gonna be doing dusk from song 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And I'm playing that character then, definitely. I'm definitely
that's cool.
Trying to emote that character as much as I can, and I'm gonna have I'm gonna think about what that character, how it would act, how it would move, how it would dress even, do you know what I mean?
That's cool.
I'm always thinking of things like that, but I'm ready to move on with it as well and record a new album.
You're not worried if character was fed today and stuff like that.
No, I'm not really thinking about that. Like, no.
Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, I find as well. Like for me, I do most of my favorite quote is one of my favorite is don't learn from your own mistakes, learn from someone else's. And in a weird way, I apply that like to when through stories like movies and books I read and songs I listen to. I love like really connecting with the character. And sometimes like I'll feel the emotions of the character watching movies and stuff where I like feel like I've like vicariously learned now, like through them I've had an experience I wouldn't have had because I wasn't in the war. Like for example, I wasn't in a war, so if I watch like a war movie, Hacksaw Ridge, like anything like that, so stuff I might never get to experience, I can experience through that story. Like,
well, that's exactly kind of what I wanted. What I want the listener to feel. I kind of want you to just put on the record and just see it through your own eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't put in any, pronouns or anything into it. So I want you, the listener, very much to just be in this and relate it to your own life.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thinking from the very start of the record. But and I wanted it to be as cinematic as possible as well. I enjoy film and stuff. So I like the idea of putting film into like music, like The Weeknd does. I just kind of wanted to do a bit of that, like.
Yeah, that's really cool. Who did I see? Oh, I don't like this. Well, this is actually someone. There is a couple of people I don't listen to their music, but I can always appreciate everything. But I did one. The MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
He made this thing that I was surprised that no one else done before because it was very more of an artistic thing, like rather than like a pop thing where his stuff is very much made for the radio and structured around the TikTok thing and the radio thing and completely for that. But he made this album but made a movie. I don't know if you've seen that. Like, so from start to finish, it's like it's a whole thing. It was kind of a generic thing of like to go with the music, which was like pop, punk rock sort of like pop. That of a kid in high school with a breakup and stuff. But it's like the album's an hour long, and so is the music video. So the music video actually like is an hour long, but it's a movie the whole way through as well, which I thought was really weird, and I'd never seen that before. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a place for that to become a thing. Which
there is, and again, just an album I had mentioned earlier was Because the Internet by Childish Gambino, and for that album, Donald Glover, who's Childish Gambino, he had written a screenplay that you read.
Oh, whoa.
And he'd be like, "Oh, you play this song now," and so like you're reading the screenplay,
cool,
and then like the song is in it. That's telling more of the story.
Yeah.
And there's even I believe there's a prequel for the album, which is just a short film called "Clapping for the Wrong Reasons," I believe it's called. So he's done a full he's done a prequel short film.
That's mad.
He's written the album, which is so cinematic, and it's really visual.
Yeah.
With this screenplay, and that is just genius to me.
Whoa.
That's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
how I find it hard though to focus on one thing. Like, and to do that level of art, like you need to have that direct focus. Do you ever find that tricky, right? Like,
focus. Yeah. I mean, I think when you have the concept or the theme, I find that helps you just narrow, just get into it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But you can definitely get stuck along the way through development. But I think definitely just getting the concept is the thing. When you have the concept, you can really think.
Yeah, so you have your concept now. Do you have a process then, or write the story all out first and with as much details or what before you start the song?
I generally wouldn't write out like
anything.
This happens, this happens,
Okay.
this happens. I would think a lot about what could happen.
Yeah.
In whether it's the song or the album.
Do you just think or do you write it? Like,
I generally just think a lot.
yeah.
Like I enjoy thinking about things.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
thinking, oh, how would this person react to this event happening? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do you think what clothes they're wearing and details of what they?
I actually
No.
like I kind of would in a
you?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like for the next record, like the character is wearing like a specific
Yeah.
like rig out, and like for the other record, like for Dusk, which just came out, I should say.
Yeah.
That character in my mind wears specific things
Cool.
Yeah.
to me. Do you know what I mean? And I try and reflect that in like the music video for like the Widows Homes that we did. But but I think just come back to that. I think once you find your theme or your concept, like you're kind of away. You just have to keep thinking about things. I think then that'll just push you further.
Class.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's just like trying to completely connect with the finished product as well.
Exactly.
Like, I definitely find that like there's nearly this hump you get. Like if an idea comes or something to me, like there is like this part. The hardest part isn't actually like bringing it into like fruition. It's the actual staying focused on enough to where like all you need is this one thing to reveal itself, whether it's it could be a line in a song, or it could be like a part of the painting, I don't know, where then you go, oh, now you have it, and now you kind of just have to follow that. But definitely the first part I find the hardest.
Would you be thinking of time and like times and places, like as in when you're like a time in history or anything like that? Or is it always now, or is it different times?
Definitely Dusk is set, I think, between anytime you want between the 50s to the 80s.
Lovely.
I think,
Okay,
if that
yeah.
makes sense. And
Cool.
you're
Yeah, I
like,
do- I
but
do
like
know.
that's like that's like decades. But like, I just feel it has
that feeling.
the vibe of back then. Do you know what I mean? And the record I'm making now, it's similar time frame.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. But they're generally like, they're teams that like.
And what about places? Is it a set place?
Not really.
Even
no.
not a real place. No.
Send Hickeys.
Yeah.
Hickeys,
yeah.
Why not? If Hickeys would like to sponsor the album, can be set there.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. We finish up now, but if people want to buy tickets to a wonderful event in the Source Arts Centre this Saturday, do it at the sourceartscentre.ie or sourceartscentre.ie. Yeah, the link is in the description.
Just Google Bright Falls at the Source and it'll come across.
Or
And then
learn how to use Photoshop is another option.
Oh, okay. No, we don't condone that.
yeah, or do that. Like, and also buy all the Bright Falls T-shirts, CDs,
Are they for
hats,
sale?
and
listen,
hoodies, and whatever is there. Stream Bright Falls.
Yeah.
Share Bright Falls with all your friends. Share it on your social media. Tell everyone that Bright Falls is the greatest thing in the world.
Get
a tattoo. Of Bright Falls
on
Drop
your
out
face.
Of school to follow.
They should get your face tattooed on their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do that.
Drop out of
everything
school
in the name of Bright Falls. We are now your masters.
Drop out of school. Do drugs. Start wars.
No, stay in school and
don't start wars.
Don't do drugs and don't drink and stay sober and drink water because water is really good for you.
Yeah, that's a very positive message. The next album will have to be about water, how it's good for you. Thanks a million for coming on anyway. It was a good episode.
No worries.
And go listen to the album. Click the link in the description below if you want to go and buy the album or listen to it. Is it for sale online? Will it be?
Yeah, it'll probably be on iTunes or something. But
there will be a link to click.
Either buy the CD or just stream it on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. You just go do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely, I recommend the tattoo more than anything. But thanks everyone for watching on YouTube with your lovely eyes, or listening on Spotify with your lovely ears. And if you want to help the podcast,
money in the letterbox,
or the less traditional way, you can click the link in the description of this episode as well, and it'd be greatly appreciated, and all the money goes back towards equipment and stuff like that. So thanks a million. See you next week. Bye.
Taste of strawberry medicine as it runs down my neck. I feel it draw me in, and when it settles on my mind, just know you'll find me there inside.